Yay. Okay, Juju. So
Hello.
we are end of September, and you did not think that you were going to be coming back ever. You didn't know when you were coming back.
No, no.
So, why don't you remind us where you been? Where you been?
So the last time you talked to me, I was at the goat farm in
Yes, yes.
Piemonte in Italy.
Yeah.
Wonderful people. I just love them so much, and just had a wonderful time with those guys.
Yeah.
After that, I went to house sit near Rome, about an hour north of Rome, at an olive farm, and take care of their dogs and their chickens in their garden. And actually, Hannah, the lady from the goat farm, came with me, so we had a 2 week vacation. Well, we had 2 weeks together, and then she left, and was there by myself. But that was really great. It was beautiful. It was one of those, when we walked into the house, it was one of those pearl clutching moments, like,
Mm.
with the view of the hills, with the cypress trees and the lavender fields and the grape fields. It was
Mm.
just amazing. Just beautiful, beautiful house.
Mm-hmm.
And the hostess there introduced me to two of her friends. So I had people to
Okay.
hang out with, and
Oh.
went to these, fun little pool parties, and we went shopping one day. It was a fantastic time, really great.
Mm.
And the best part of that was I just got to know Hannah better. We just,
Mm-hmm.
spent hours talking, and
Mm.
we had movie, marathons, and it was great. So
Nice.
after that, I was there for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that was interesting time too, because you know, I've known about global warming for such a long time, but I think maybe I've said about my friends with Hannah and Mickey at the goat farm, seeing how this is impacting people I personally know has just really
Mm.
brought it even more home to me. So where I was at the olive farm, there was such a drought that they were going to have a huge impact on their crop this year.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, it's sort of like their hobby farm. They're retired, but still thinking of people whose livelihood that is, just really
Yeah.
seeing that happening was really kind of it was an eye-opening experience.
Mm.
After that, I went to Laura Pacino for 5 days to visit my friends that I met last year when I was there house sitting.
Okay.
That
Is
was
that
great.
also in Italy? That's in
Oh
Italy?
yeah,
Awesome.
I would not be in Maryland right now if I could have stayed in Italy. Okay. So that was in the La Marche region.
Okay.
So I got to see some old friends and made
Mm.
new friends. Got a new tattoo. Got my nipples pierced as part of my like crone leap into my crone-dom. I was like, I
Yeah.
get one done. I was like, yeah, might as well get two.
I mean,
And that
why
was just
not?
yeah, and that was just super fun.
Fun? You're so
Well, I mean,
brave.
the nipple piercing was just like a slight shriek, like that, and then it was over. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
I know. It's really funny. I know my kids are like, "What are you like 15, mom, or something? What are you doing that for?" I was like, I felt like in a way, like in hindsight, I realized that, for me, it was sort of an initiation. Like sometimes when you go through a different period of your life, you get markings or you get a
Mhm.
tattoo or you get a piercing or something. And so for me, in a way, it was sort of like claiming my breasts in a way
Mm.
because, I breastfed both my boys, the first one for 3 years, the second for 2 years.
Mhm.
They've been sexualish objects for a long time, and no, they don't give nourishment in the same way. And, I mean, they're pretty and everything. But I just kind of felt like, in a way, this is like me jabbing a hole, like spearing this symbol of motherhood, like direct
Mm.
motherhood,
Mhm.
because my relationship has changed with my boys.
Yeah.
And that's where they were joined to me at my nipple.
Yep.
you know?
Been
So for
there.
me, yeah, so it was just really kind of got deeper the more I thought about it.
Mm.
So then after Laura Pacino, then I went to the Abruzzo region, which is on the East Coast. Gorgeous. I went there to a house, no, not housing, a workaway gig where I
Mhm.
was taking care of a 1 year old girl,
Mhm.
living with the family, and their house just abutted up to Magellan National Park. So I
Mm.
just walk up the road 15 minutes, and I was in a national park. With
Wow.
access to all of these beautiful vistas and all of these.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I want to move there. it was just beautiful. I mean, it's like 30 minutes from the ocean, but then it's
Mhm.
right this a gorgeous national park with,
Mhm.
these rivers running clear and cold. I got to, next year I got to learn. I have got to learn how to swim better because
Mm.
I can dog paddle. So I
Uh-huh.
dog paddled in a mountain creek,
Mhm.
and it was just amazing.
Wow.
My
Okay,
Italian.
tell me the name of that area again.
The area is called Abruzzo,
Abruzzo. Okay. Mhm.
Abruzzo,
Mhm.
and the park is Magella National
Okay.
Park.
Mhm.
So my Italian got way better because I was like sitting really immersed in it, and they're
Mhm.
so kind. They're really super encouraging about my Italian.
Mhm.
And then one night, she asked me to cook dinner, and I was like, I can't cook dinner for you. You're Italian.
I
So they're like,
know.
no. So I made my eggplant stew, and they really
Mhm.
liked that. And then like a couple days later, I made tuna patties. So
Mhm.
I had some success. It was beautiful. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, one of the things about being in Italy was I hummed all the time. I was humming and singing and smiling constantly to the
Mm.
point where I think I kind of irritated one of my friends. She was like, "You're a hummer, right?" I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm so happy. I just was humming the whole time and singing. People would
Mhm.
comment on it, like, oh, you're a happy person."
Mm.
So, I mean, yeah, I would not have left Italy if it wasn't for the Schengen limitation.
Mhm.
So, I had already looked into extending my trip, told the husband and unit, like, hey, I'm staying longer. By then, actually, I had gotten offered a house sitting gig on Crete for
Mhm.
November.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, awesome. I just have to kind of figure out where I'm going to be non Schengen for 3 months.
Mhm.
And I talked to my husband, and by then he was missing me enough to say that he would come and be with me. At first he was like,
Right.
"Well, I have to work." It's like we got to work the rest of our lives. Let us take this opportunity to do this for ourselves. We've taken 3 vacations together in
Oh.
25 years of being together.
Oh
So at
wow.
first he was kind of like, no, 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 no. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. You stay home and work. I'll be home in January because by then I had also gotten a second house sitting gig in Crete. So I go to Croatia, which is, a jumping off place for a lot of people who are getting out of Schengen.
Mhm.
However, in January,
Yeah.
Croatia is entering Schengen, and
I
so it
know.
won't be this place that you can ditch for a minute.
I know.
So yeah. So first I went to Zadar on the coast.
Mhm.
I took the ferry. First I took a train from Pescara to Ancona in Italy, and then I caught the ferry over to Croatia, and a 7-hour overnight trip. That was
Whoa,
just
wait.
amazing.
What kind of
Yeah,
slow ferry is that?
I don't know. I don't know how fast it was going, but it took 7 hours.
Seven
And it was,
hours.
yeah, it was amazing. I guess that sea is just
Okay.
bigger than it looks on a map or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to be out in the middle of the water, there's no lights all around you. There's just
Mm,
black, black, black sky
mm,
and all these stars.
mm.
It was just amazing.
Nice.
It was fantastic. The first thing I did when I got on the boat though was I went to find the lifeboats. It's like, I
Yeah,
sure
you got to
did.
get some swimming lessons in. Get yourself
I
some.
did. Yeah, I
Good.
timed how long it was going to take me from where I was sitting to get up to the lifeboats. And then I said, I have the option of sleeping up on the deck with a bunch of other people who were sleeping on the deck or
Mm,
partying. Could have
mm,
slept right next to the lifeboat. But
mm.
whatever. So got to Zadar. I made some mistakes along the way. So yeah, at some point maybe we could just talk about the mistakes or the things I would
Yeah.
do differently. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that happened was I saw a charge on my debit card that I didn't recognize. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought someone had hacked my debit card.
Mm-hmm.
I called my sons to ask them, "Did you make this charge?" My one of my sons said, "No, I didn't do that." The other one, there's no answer. He didn't answer the phone, me calling him or his brother. I was like, okay, someone hacked my card. So I had to cancel my debit card. And then they gave me they gave me a digital card. And they said, yeah, you can use this in an ATM. Well, I did not know that not every cell phone has that technology to be
Mm-hmm.
able to talk to an ATM machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I had money in my account on this digital card, but none of those machines could read my phone.
Mm.
So I was basically stuck there with no money.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, I figured out I can order food online and have it
Yeah.
delivered.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was trying to find a Western Union to like maybe send myself some money or something.
Mhm.
That just kept running into these dead ends. So
Mhm.
eventually, what I did was I was staying in this really great hostel. What is it called? The Forum Hostel Forum. I think that's what it's called.
Mhm.
So I ended up asking one of my roommates, "Can I cash app you some money and you pay my bill for me?" And that's how I was able to pay for my bill.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ugh, so
Yeah.
that was a mistake. But yeah, as a daughter, I just went to the beach. The city itself is just super crowded, and
Mhm.
I don't like crowds and
Mhm.
blah. So I just went to the beach for 3 days
Mhm.
and dog paddled in the
Yeah.
water.
Nice.
And then after that, I took a bus. It was a 2 hour bus ride up to where I had another WorkAway position
Mhm.
up near Slun, Slunj,
Mhm.
in northern Croatia, to
Mhm.
live with a family that had 2 kids. It was a mom and dad. The dad did IT work. He's
Mhm.
Italian and she's Croatian.
Mhm.
And so, that portion, the Croatian portion of my trip, it really took a turn. Because I wasn't singing, I wasn't
Mhm.
humming, I wasn't smiling all the time. That portion was very stressful because
Mhm.
I mean, I had been living with a family in Italy, of course, but just you are a witness to people's lives.
Mhm.
If they're dysfunctional, you will see that dysfunction. Somehow it will impact you. And the same way, if people are in a good groove, then that's what you're seeing.
Mhm.
So, and I ended up saying, like, what needed to happen happened.
Mhm.
I got there ready to do all this work on their farm, like their homestead.
Mhm.
So they live in a village that's been abandoned for 30 years.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
after the Croatian War, the Serbian Croatians left the country.
Mhm.
So they are homesteading. There are houses at the end of this long road,
Wow.
and very last house in the village, and there's only four total houses in the village that are occupied.
Oh
So it's
wow.
isolated, which I didn't
Wow.
mind. I mean, I like being isolated. Beautiful woods to walk around in and stuff.
Mhm.
um but what really I ended up doing, I said it was like a combination of being Nanny McPhee and Medea. um
My dear.
Yeah, because their kids were 2 and 4. They were very off the chain. The
Mhm.
mom felt, I could tell from the beginning, she just had no power. She had
Mhm.
felt like she had no power.
Mhm.
And there's just a thing about me, and it's one reason people call me Nana. She started talking to me like I was her grandma or her mom. And we just got honest and open very quickly
Mhm.
about kind of her mental state, the state of their family, what it is they
Yeah.
wanted to create.
Mhm.
And the husband said the same thing to me. I had to hang out with him when he was taking his breaks, and he was just saying, "Yeah, you know." So I ended up being this sort of off the cuff voice witness. That's what I
Mm.
call it, witnessing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they even said that, like, we need someone who will reflect back to us honestly what they see.
Oh.
And so I told him,
Mhm.
this is what I see,
Mhm.
and I've gone through similar challenges in my own marriage,
Mhm.
and I'm going to tell you, kind of what worked for me and my husband so you guys can avoid that.
Mhm.
So, what I got out of that was that you end up where you're needed or where you need to be. I learned that I just don't have patience for little kids like that anymore. I mean, I was a nanny for a long time, and
Mhm.
I mean, I'm 57 years old. Physically, I don't have the energy to go running
Mhm.
around after little kids like that.
Yeah.
I'll take care of babies in a minute,
Mm.
but like 2 and 4 years old, that's super active.
Yeah.
Um, and he told me, he says, "I'm really glad you're here." Well, I said, "I feel like I'm not helping you because
Mhm.
I wanted to do all this work, like physical work. Like,
Mhm.
I can clean this up. I know how to run a chainsaw. I can cut this down. I can, but they weren't organized either with tools or materials. So I
Mhm.
just ended up being more like this. And they told me when I left, they said, "You've been here and it's been more like a psychological, spiritual experience. And that's what we needed."
Okay.
So that was really wonderful.
Mm.
the dad said, I feel like you're here because my wife needs a strong woman to model herself on. And so she and I are still in contact. I
Mm.
send her little encouraging steps, and she tells me how she's progressing. And the other thing that did for me was it made me reflect on my own relationship with my husband.
Mhm.
Like, where are we?
Mhm.
We've been together for almost 25 years. Where are we in our communication?
Mhm.
Where are we in, how we've managed our kids and how we manage them now?
Mhm.
So it was really powerful in a way I had never expected.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah. So that was primo, and I had really good food, and
Good.
it was beautiful and quiet.
Mm.
Um, so then
My
after
mail.
that,
Sorry.
oh no,
My mail's getting delivered.
oh
Okay.
okay, that's
There
good.
you go.
Life goes on.
Mm.
So after that, then I went up near Zagreb, about an hour north of Zagreb, to house sit for an older couple who are British, and they had 6 dogs and 4 cats and an acre, a half acre of land. But it was all fenced in. The dogs had the run of the yard and the run of the house. Really, really wonderful, sweet, sweet dogs. I had a swimming pool, so I hung out and got some sun. Got that tan going.
Mhm.
And again, it was isolated. It was at the end of the road, last house on the road, quiet.
Yeah.
I just had a lot of time to be in my head and to think.
Mm.
Um, I did some projects for them, besides loving up on the dogs. That was their main thing. That's what they
Mm.
wanted. But, I did some organization because I like doing that stuff, cleaned out their sheds and did some gardening.
Mhm.
But that time, I did start to hum a little bit more
Mm.
because I was not in that stressful family situation.
Yeah.
Um, but that also really brought home like realities about my life here. And I remember
Mhm.
that's one of the questions you asked me when we had our interview before, like, what do you foresee for your arrival back home?
Yeah.
So, and I gotta admit, I'm still kind of bent about this. This situation. So I left. My husband was here. We have 2 sons who are 19 and 22, and
Mhm.
Zen and his partner live in the studio apartment we made for them.
Mhm.
And before I left, I said, here's a checkbook. The bills come in. The mortgage needs to get paid. Take care of business, right? But all that crap just followed me across the ocean. They were calling me like, "Oh, mommy, guess what he did? Or you should do this. He didn't do that. Or you should need to talk to him, or whatever." And my husband went home to Paraguay. I sent him to
Mm.
Paraguay for a month so he
Mhm.
could, just go see his people instead of staying home being miserable. So he wasn't taking charge, and so just crap fell apart
Yeah.
here. It just, I
Mm.
mean, I'm pissed about this, and I'm on in a group of other older women travelers, and saying like, and I got back and I really did chew my family out about it. I said, the one time I took time, a significant amount of time to take care of myself,
Yeah.
but you can't leave me alone.
Mhm.
You're supposedly adults, your dad is here, so why are you calling me? It's just like, they're 2 years old and they're running to tell me. So
Mm.
that really pissed me off. That
Mhm.
pissed me off.
Yeah.
And then also I got I'd say, "Oh, did you pay the mortgage?" No, the mortgage wasn't being paid on time. It's like the mortgage to my house is not being paid on time. Or I got an email that showed the utility bills hadn't been paid for 4 months, and the car, like the realities, like the car registration was about to get rescinded because that hadn't been paid. And
Oh
so, I mean, of
no.
course, it showed me like, this role I played in our family all of this time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I thought I had taught my children better, but
Well, children don't they don't appreciate or understand or even know how much labor goes into running a household, how much labor goes into raising them and maintaining their, you know, the stability of their lives. They have
mm,
no idea.
hmm
No
yeah.
idea.
Right. And I feel like all along I've been teaching them, like, here, come over here. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to walk you through paying the bills. Come,
Mhm.
sit down. I'm going to teach you how to write a check to mail off. Come over
Mhm.
here. I'm going to show you how you apply for health insurance. These are all lessons because I was a
Mhm.
homeschooler. And
Mm.
I was trying to teach them, very conscientiously real life applications to what they were learning.
Yeah.
But they just showed me they're a bunch of dummies. So,
They're young,
I'm,
right?
yeah. No, they're not. I mean, in a way, they're young. They're 19 and 22. Zen's girlfriend is
That's
30.
young.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, someone did say that to me. 19 and 22, and then Zen's girlfriend is 34. And
Okay.
so,
She knows
yeah. And
better.
I was, and that's one of the things too, is just like, when I left, I put Zen and his girlfriend in charge of taking care of the animals, because for me that was my priority. Make sure my animals are okay.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. I came
Hmm.
back, my animals are all in pretty good condition, right? But then, the kitchen is just disgusting. So I'm actually going to charge them a cleaning fee with
Good.
their rent. Everyone's rent is going up, and
Good.
they're going to have a cleaning fee
Good.
added on to that.
Hmm.
And the next time I decide to go away, they all have to leave. I'm not leaving my house with these people.
Hmm.
Just
Also,
not.
auto pay.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I mean, I came back like, kind of pissed
Hmm.
in that respect.
Yeah.
I mean, that second little part was the reality check too.
Hmm.
When I'm getting like, oh, these things are late, blah blah. It just made me realize, like, or just made me recommit to myself that I need to take care of myself. I
Hmm.
can't I can't depend on my kids. I can't depend on my husband. What is going to lock some kind of future security in for me is me.
Hmm.
So I started looking for work.
Okay.
I mean, I lucked out totally. This organization that I was going to work with very, very part time, like twice a month, offered me a full time position. Hey, are
Okay.
you interested in doing this?
Mm.
Yes, it's exactly the kind of work I want to do, teaching, cooking, and food
Mm.
access work.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah, I start
Okay.
next week.
Okay.
So that was,
Nice.
reality check for me.
Yeah.
And
Is that
then
why you
also,
came back earlier or?
that's well, that piece, like, I need to start taking care of myself now. I'd love to be in Crete for 2 months and chilling and stuff, but I left my house in the hand of a bunch of incompetent people who are not taking care of business. Yeah, and so, I got to get back and start putting some foot up some people's butts and shoving some people out of the door.
Mm.
I
Mm.
told them, like, rent goes up, but I'm also giving you you need to be out by next summer. You can't be here anymore. I'm done taking care of children,
Mm.
grown ass kids. And my
Hmm.
husband, I'll keep him because he fixes things occasionally. Um,
Juju. Come on now.
No, I mean, I love him and stuff, but like I said, being with that family made me look at my own relationship and the dynamic I have between me and my husband, and I
Hmm.
realized there's a lot of stuff wrong with it.
Hmm.
And I actually want us to go to couples therapy. I mean, I think a lot of it is it's just our dynamic. Yeah, part of
Yeah.
it is just me. I say I'm like the Borg, and I just come in and I take over and consume
Mm.
things,
Mm.
But also because, I mean, it's just a lot of women. It's our role
Yeah.
in life
Yeah.
to take care of shit,
I
stuff,
know.
everything, and
It's
everybody.
tiring.
So that was one reason I came back. The
Uh-huh.
other reason was I did not plan well, and then I got a bill for the county taxes.
Mm.
So it ended up taking half of my travel money that I would have lasted me through January. I just did not plan ahead.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, well, another reason to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was, I mean, I kind of felt it was like, okay, it's kind of time,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, I had planned on going to Albania after
Mm.
Croatia. I got to work away there, working at like a yoga retreat center where they do goat yoga and all that jazz. But for some reason, I could just never get my travel plans together. It was not working, and I was just
Mm.
like, "This is this a sign?" Okay, well, where else am I going to be then if before I can get to Greece? But it was a block.
Hmm.
It was just a block.
Hmm.
So, um, so that's one of the things I would change on my next trip,
Mm-hmm.
rather than trying to plan months ahead. Maybe like a month ahead or a
Mm-hmm.
couple weeks ahead, and then be able to have like this cushion in between, um, where I just go stay at a hostel or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, like this kind of trip is not going to happen for a while because now I have a real job. And
I
so,
like the quotes.
yeah. Ooh. Actually, I even asked her because it's this job is partially remote, and I said, "Well, how remote is it? Is it like I could be on Crete remote, or I have to be in PG County remote?" But I had to come back, like physically be here.
Mm,
So it's going to be a long time before I'm able to take the same kind of journey.
yeah.
Um, but to kind of ameliorate that, I will, I'll get 2 weeks of vacation every year, whatever I get. And I'll go back to Italy because that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm also maintaining my trusted house sitters membership. So
Hmm.
when I feel like I need to get away, I can just get away
Yeah.
locally
Yeah.
because that's really important for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Huh.
I'm
So,
back.
yeah. So, okay. So, one thing that you said that you'd only taken like 3 vacations your whole
Mm,
marriage with your husband.
yeah. Hmm.
Why is that, do you think?
Partly because he worked every Saturday for
Mm.
most of the time. I mean, he didn't work the Saturdays I was in the hospital like when the babies were born. But at one time we did. We had 7 kids. We had our Brady Bunch kids,
Mm.
and he was working to take care of us.
Okay.
And
Yeah. 7 kids.
yeah, we
Okay.
had, our two, my
Yeah.
nephew, and then his children. So we
Hmm.
had this blended family.
Right.
And then I would stay home mom, taking care of everybody.
Hmm.
So our money was very, very limited.
Mm.
Like vacations were like, oh, we go to the beach for a day.
Yeah.
At one point, we did go to, where did we go? We went to I was in California for a week, and he came out for the weekend. So that was one vacation. A second vacation was we went to this like a marriage encounter thing up at Omega in New York. And then last year, after my mom died, we were just wiped out. We went to Hatteras, Outer Banks, and camp for a week,
Hmm.
and that's it. That's all we've ever
Wow.
done.
Wow.
Yeah, we've had like little nights away here and there, go spend the night with a friend,
Yeah.
but I
Maybe
mean,
your next trip could be with him, like a longer time. A fun thing. Not marriage counseling week. No. It's a fun thing.
well, I mean, I felt like it was like a huge thing for him to even kind of agree to like, okay, yeah, I'll come to be with you in Crete, even if it's just for a month.
Yeah, no, that's
Now, and that was
huge.
huge.
It
That
is.
was really huge. I mean,
Mhm.
I did, I'll admit I had a tantrum and got pissed off and cried, and because he's like, well, I'll just stay here and work. I'm like, fine, stay there and work. And then I called him back and I said, I'm sorry. I said, I just really want this for us
Yeah.
because, we're 57 years old,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
But, like I said, as time progressed and I saw the state of things here, um, I have to take care of me. I have to
Hmm.
take care of myself.
Yeah.
And I don't, like my friend asked me, he said, how long are you here for? And I said, until I can leave.
Mm.
Um, like I came home and I'm doing, cleaning up this, but also just like my regular fall deep
Hmm.
cleaning and purging.
Hmm.
And there's just a lot of stuff that just doesn't fit the life I want anymore.
Hmm.
It just doesn't, I
Yeah.
want to be in a smaller house. I want less people around me.
Hmm.
And, I just,
So interesting. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a
I
time,
was
it's a transition time.
Yes. So I was speaking with an astrologer, and I was asking her about Saturn returns,
Mm-hmm.
because they happen every 29 years, and
Yeah.
so you know this is about the time both of us are going through our second Saturn return, where we're
Mm-hmm.
questioning things, we're like reassessing, we're going through
Mm-hmm.
the inventory and figuring
Mm-hmm.
out what fits, what doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a big sort of, you know, turning point, flashpoint, whatever. It's an
Yeah.
assessment time, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, I really am glad that I took this time for myself, and that I did extend.
Hmm.
Like I said, if things would have worked out differently, I'd still be gone.
Hmm.
But I'm really glad that I took this time to just pause. I mean, years and years ago, I read this book, The Marriage Sabbatical.
Hmm.
I can't remember the author
Oh,
right off.
I gotta write that down.
Um, the Marriage Sabbatical. And I just remember saying, like, I need one of those.
Mm,
I mean, not only been married for a few years at that point with Valentine, but I was already in the mix of having 7 kids. And my friend said, "Well, how much time do you want?" And I said, "I don't know, like 2 months." And she said, 2 months? Why can't you just go away for the weekend? This is from a friend who didn't have children.
weekend,
Yeah. And so I
honey.
said, it's going to take me just 2 weeks just to get used to not being on call. That's
Mm,
not enough time, I felt, for me
yeah.
to sink into myself. And
Mm,
so I'm really glad I had this time, especially this last part in Croatia. It
mm,
really made me look at myself. Um, like, yeah, there's some
mm,
parts of me that are really, really awesome, really cool. And
yeah.
there's parts of me that I need to revisit and work on.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
and then I think that's the challenge for coming back. I knew the
Mm,
challenge coming back would be like, oh, I'm back here. But the challenge has been coming back into my marriage.
mm-hmm.
Um, what are our expectations of each other?
Yeah. Yeah, 25 years. I mean, that
Yeah,
is a very long time
it's a long
to be
time.
married to somebody.
Yeah, and he's very sweet, but my husband's he's very simple, and like he's a very humble person.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard worker, and that's one of the things I love about him, and so. But I could also see this was a transition for him too, because this is the longest we've ever been apart, other
Yeah.
than our initial 7 months.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
think I haven't been a long-term marriage person, but I feel like marriages go through seasons also.
Hmm.
Like the way, each individual in the marriage will go through seasons, and then the marriage
Hmm.
also must go through seasons too. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's happening, man. We are having seeing it up here over here. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'm excited about your reclaiming your body with your tattoo and your nipple piercing, and I
Hi,
think
baby.
that's, yeah, I think that's great that you're reclaiming it from motherhood. This body is for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The new tattoo is it's a butterfly because
Hmm.
Valentine's nickname for me is Butterfly in Guarani, which is
Mm.
Panambi. This one is the one I got last year,
I love
and
that.
that's the oops, can you see the
Yeah.
symbol of the mother, maiden, and crone,
Okay.
the triple
Mm.
goddess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is really a time. I like getting older.
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I feel like I just come more into myself the older I get.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, just the last couple of years, having this experience with my mom, like seeing her wither away. I mean, she withered,
Mm.
and then being around older people and looking at your limitations, physical
Yep.
limitations.
Mm-hmm.
I came back, my garden, you couldn't even see the house. The garden's so
Mm,
overgrown.
no.
And I was just like, what do I want to take care of?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I want to put my energy the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years?
Yeah.
How
Yeah, because
many hours?
you
Yeah.
recognize that you do have limited energy. Like you don't have you take another swig of espresso and keep going. It's not like
Mm.
that anymore. It's like I've got
No.
this amount of time that where I'm going to be actively energetic, and then
Mm.
I'm going to rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do I want to spend it? What do I want to
Hmm.
Yeah, what do I want?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't remember if I told you this part. There was a day in early January 2019, and I went over at my friend's house, and I called her. I said, "Can I come over?" And she's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "I just need to get out of here." So I went over her house, and I told her, I said, "I feel like I'm maintaining a life I don't even want anymore."
Hmm.
I just go through the motions. I mean, I get a lot of pleasure out of homemaking and making it beautiful, and it's important to me that my house feels like a sanctuary
Hmm.
to my family and to my friends who come over. That's really important to me. But I was just like, how many times can I repaint this or move this, or you know, what am I spinning? And so
Hmm.
I've come back to that.
Hmm.
Um, I don't want to maintain a life of mothering anymore.
Mm.
You know, my kids don't need me in the same way. I think right now I'm just probably really pissed off because because things were dirty, and then also, you know, like you said, they're young and they don't understand. Because it wasn't until I was like 22 years old when I realized, like, wow, my parents have really done all this for me. Wow, you know. So I guess they haven't had their
No.
moment yet or
It took me
something.
decades to, no, decades. Okay, it took me a decade to realize that I have to buy my own socks. I just thought that they magically appear. I didn't know.
Yeah, really. Seriously. Yeah. I mean, like I sent them a message and I said, "Hey, your health insurance is about to expire. You need to reapply." And
Mm,
I was just like, "Okay, well then you don't have health insurance. You need to figure that out."
mm,
I just feel like I'm done
mm-hmm,
for doing for people in this way.
mm-hmm,
You know, I mean, my work is important to me. Food access is that's my passion.
mm-hmm,
Teaching cooking is my passion. I want to do that. I
mm-hmm.
don't want to do deal with, adults, children's bullshit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I'm already looking like when can I leave again?
mm-hmm,
You know,
yeah,
I'm ready to go.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but as always, I mean, I encourage people go take that time. You know, it's exciting. It can be scary. It's
Mm-hmm,
challenging. That's what I loved about it was a challenge.
mm-hmm,
Trying to learn a new language, trying to catch the bus. You know, adjusting to the rhythms of someone somewhere else.
mm-hmm,
Quiet, slow, time, being with myself. No internet.
mm-hmm.
Just like walking in the woods. Yeah. I
Yeah,
I
peaceful.
I like that quiet life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm back in DC.
I know, I know. So those
Yeah.
Crete house sits. So
Mm-hmm.
you had to cancel the Crete house sits.
Mm-hmm.
But though there will be others if you feel like you want to do that in the
Oh
future.
yeah, for sure. I mean that's one of the great things about trusted house sitters too. Once you have a couple of really positive reviews, it's easier to get a place.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like I've gotten contacted just from around here.
Mm, good.
Like actually,
Yeah.
right before I left, I went and did a house sit for 5 days in Glen Echo,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
that
that's
worked out
fun.
perfect because
Yeah.
Valentine was redoing the kitchen.
Mm,
So
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I like the idea of having a home,
Mm-hmm.
but I also don't want to be limited to this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so someone send me a plane ticket.
Hmm.
No, I'm gonna take a couple of road trips too. I'm gonna go to Atlanta, and on the way down, I stop off and see my girlfriend in North Carolina, and so
Mm-hmm.
I mean, little stuff is coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is. It's re-entry.
Yes. Challenge.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna. I mean, I feel like I created what I always wanted.
Mm.
I always wanted to go traveling. And I said one day, what I want to do is travel. And then one day I decided, you know what, it's time for me to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's basically what I did.
Yeah.
It's like, it's time for me to go home. I need to get a job and start taking care of myself. And
Mm.
so I started my job hunt on a Friday, sent out a whole bunch of resumes over the weekend. Tuesday, I got offered a job. And then the next Monday, I was on the plane back home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really happy that I lived my dream,
Yeah.
and that's not the end of the dream just because I
No.
did it once,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's definitely fallout from me living my dream,
Mm-hmm.
but I was just not willing to sacrifice my personal, I don't know, need
Yeah.
because it would have made someone else, because it made other people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they're happy I'm back. My son's like, "Oh, now that you're back, things feel more stable." I'm like, "Really? Well, you're irritating me. So I don't feel very stable." And
Yeah.
then my other son was like, "No one in the house has my sense of humor like you do. I don't have anyone to laugh with." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, okay."
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna hang out, watch something silly.
Good.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I know they're glad I'm back, but I also see where they need to be gone.
Yeah.
They need to go. And if they're still here when, I don't want them to be here. But on the off chance they are still here when I take my next journey, I'm going to get a house sitter.
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
or maybe by then they will be older and have that insight. Like, you know, when mommy is away, we take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, mommy comes back and she's.
Steam coming out of her ears. Ay.
Yeah, but it's been great. I'm really happy. I'm so happy I did that. I miss Italy so much.
I know.
I really miss it.
It was so lovely just, following your travels. It was lovely.
Yeah, yeah, I miss it so much, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll I mean, if I can, I'm gonna go back next year, depending on my work schedule and stuff. Because
Mm-hmm.
one of my friend who lives in Laura Pacino is going to Egypt for 2 weeks, and
Mm-hmm.
she wants me to house it.
Nice.
So that'd be perfect.
Yeah, it sounds perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and I still want to live there,
Mm-hmm.
but now I know how I can.
Mm-hmm.
I just go house sit for 6 months out of the year,
Yeah.
or the rents aren't expensive. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you rent a whole house for $300 right outside that national park. I
In
can
that
do that.
in that complete in the ghost town, in the
No, no, no,
oh,
no,
okay,
no, no. That was the ghost towns in Croatia.
okay,
No, at the national park in Italy.
okay.
Yeah, $300 for a whole house. I mean,
Mm.
$150 for an apartment or something. I
Mm-hmm.
can do that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now I've just made this commitment to
Yeah.
myself. I'm going to work the next, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
7, 8 years, you know, be good about saving money and setting myself up for, some sort of financial security as I get older.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to quit my job and go do what I want to do. So
All right.
just got to work stuff out here first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Lord, girl. Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing actually to ask women about, like, what is the reentry?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do
the
you?
reentry.
Yeah, and I truly think that like auto pay would have saved a lot of pain, but I think there's always going to be this something that you didn't anticipate when you come back.
Oh yeah, no, auto pay works when people put money into the bank.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Somebody's not managing stuff, so like the
Not quite grown, not quite flown.
oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Not quite grown, not quite flown.
Hmm.
Well, someone's gonna get some hot air balloons tied to them or something. No, no. Yeah. No, I mean, this has been really good. And like I said, a big part of this was about me really figuring out what I want for myself this next piece of my life.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I came up with no, I don't want to be trying to up behind grown children like this. Um, I want less things to take care of. So, girl, I'm going through here, Maria Kondoing.
I
Does
know.
this bring me pleasure? No.
Hmm.
I'm downsizing to a tiny house.
Hmm.
What is it that I'm willing to accept, from myself, from other people? What are the things I need to develop and move forward? Um, living in gratitude. I want to, I know it's impossible to be like happy all the time, but when I was in Italy, I felt golden.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's just that environment or I was just finally there,
Yeah.
but that's the feeling I want to work with. And so, now I ask myself, what is keeping me from feeling golden? Is it my
Hmm.
mindset? Is it, the people around me? Is it my perspective? I've gotten very introspective about this because I'm such an old wise woman. And like you said,
Yeah.
Saturn returns.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Was it because you spent more time outdoors in Italy?
Um, I was out, I was active, I
Mm,
was active. I like doing projects and seeing the work I do and stuff,
mm,
and it was beautiful. The water was
yeah.
clean, the air was clean, the food was good.
Mm,
Slower lifestyle, much more, what's the word? Very social. I
mm,
think maybe that's the other thing too, is
mm,
that, after being alone for with COVID and stuff, because I'm a very social person. I usually like having parties and having dinner. People come over for dinner. So, having a meal together. Like my
mhm,
family doesn't eat together.
mhm,
Like we would go places and meet up with their friends, and
mhm.
I think it was just that social aspect of it,
Yeah.
in the sunshine, even when it was raining, like you're still together hanging out.
Yeah.
So I think it was really that must have been it.
Mhm,
And then it's sort of the Italian personality or whatever.
mm.
Croatia, I mean, they had a war recently, 30
Yeah.
years ago. Like
Yeah.
the lady I was staying with, she remembers being a little girl and living in a basement for three
Mhm.
months while the
Yeah.
city got bombed.
Yeah.
So that's very much that their energy.
Yeah.
There's this sort of like
Yeah.
weird energy
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Plus, there's this
Yeah.
like the Slavic thing, which is not, there's
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of Fight
Yeah.
Club in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a very different energy. But I don't know. It's not like I feel like my time is limited. Time is almost up. But I'm realistic. I'm almost 58 years old. And so what am I going to do with the next 40 years of my life? How do I want to feel? What is it I want to accomplish?
Mhm.
You know? And this year's theme, like every year, my life has a theme. It
Oh.
usually comes to me when I'm taking a walk in January or February. I'll just take a walk, and then it'll just come to me. So this year's theme was have fun and do purposeful work. So I've
Mm.
had my fun. My,
Mhm.
my trip was my fun. And now I'm
Yeah.
about to do my purposeful work here in DC around food access.
Mhm.
So it's been a successful year. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Despite, my children.
Right.
No.
I know. Back to reality. Back to another reality anyway.
Yeah. 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 This reality, and I mean, it's beautiful. You have to come over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Once I can get things clean.
Right?
Clean and
I'll give you some
resettled,
time.
and our poor dog is so mad at, it's just like, did you clean the dog's ears? Mhm.
Mm, mm,
Why isn't this clean? Oh, everyone was busy. Really? Hmm.
okay.
But anyway, I have to work through that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
frustration,
Mhm.
disgust, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I like fall, and
I like it.
yeah, I like fall. I got
Mhm.
some mums. Got to get some pumpkins. Make the house cozy.
Yeah.
I usually have my birthday party with my best friend. We have our birthday parties together with Halloween.
Mhm.
So we have a happy Hallow birthday ween party. So we started planning that and getting my costume together. So, I think
Yeah.
today I just burn myself out cleaning and raging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So, but I'll keep you posted about any future launches.
Excellent. All right. Well, on that note, I wanted to thank everyone for watching, and I will link to anything that Juju is doing in the description below. And please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you, and Juju, I will see you guys next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Ciao. Thank
Bye.
you.